the hell did I just read? Hello everybody, E here. Welcome back to another horror novel review for spooky season. Today we are talking about this book. The Starving Saints, I don't know if you guys can see it, The Starving Saints by Caitlin Starling. Caitlin Starling, if you don't know, is one of my favorite writers ever. And every single time she releases a new one, I'm on it. I've read The Death of Jane Lawrence, which is the one that she published before the... Never mind. She published this one before this one. Well, that one before this one. Also, I've read The Luminous Dead. I have not yet finished The Last to Leave the Room. It is still sitting by my bed, and the reason why I jumped to this one, this is her most recent, if her most recent hasn't already dropped, it comes out on October 24th, I believe. I found it in my library. So yeah, I had to read it. It was a very weird concept. But I want to talk about Caitlin Starling's writing and what she's doing, and something that I just realized. I want to talk about that stuff first. So first off, she always has very unique names for her characters. There's no vanilla names here. There's no like Dan, John, Betty, Sue, any of that stuff. You're going to get very weird names like Servoyne, V-O-Y-N-E, Phosine, something like that, P-H-O-S-Y-N-E, that kind of thing. So if that puts you off, maybe skip her writing. I know some of you out there, Expendable Mudge, I know you don't like that kind of stuff in your fantasy, but yeah, she does that. There's like Sir Leo de Gardis or something like that in here also. Very weird names, not vanilla. I find that cool, but what I really want to pinpoint here is in every single one of her books, she has found a very unique way to isolate her characters. Now, again, I have not read Last Leave the Room, but that one is about characters isolated from society also. The Luminous Dead is literally about an astronaut on a foreign planet all by herself, and the only person she talks to is the person in her ear through her comms. Fantastic concept, fantastic premise. The next one was Yellow Jessamine, is one of the ones that I read. There is a plague going on outside the doors of the estate that the main character is living in. Or that's the setup for the other one, The Death of Jane Lawrence. I can't remember if both of them have the same setup, but I don't think they have the same setup. But yeah, The Death of Jane Lawrence is another one where it's just a woman in a house with her husband. It's I believe it's a marriage of convenience, and things go downhill very quickly in that one. I absolutely loved it. I've given all of her stuff 5 stars. I'm giving this one 4 though, and I'll explain why. But I really love what Starling is doing. Starling has found a way to write novels in the modern era. None of these books happen in the modern era except for Luminous Dead, which is in the future, or maybe not. Who knows? It could have nothing to do with Earth, period, or Earth's timeline. But I think that's cool. None of her books, all of her city names are just as weird as her character names. So it's familiar, yet it's not. She doesn't talk about real events, real time frames here, on our world kind of thing. But it is always very familiar. And I love that. It grounds it just enough for her to come out the gate with some wacky shit. And this one is another COVID book. And what I mean by that is I read The Hollow Kind by Andy Davidson, and in his afterword he talks about how he wrote it during COVID. That was another very weird book. This one, it was another one. Starling talks about how she wrote it during lockdown. And it kind of feels that way too. In this one, it is about a castle under siege, Castle Aymar, A-Y-M-A-R. Once again, you don't know, there's no country, there's nothing like that. Nothing like that is given to you. And that's not the point. That's the best part about it. She just gets in, gets weird, and gets out. I love it. With this, everybody in the castle is starving because their nemesis, the company, or not the company, whoever's attacking them is called Etribia, E-T-R-E-B-I-A-N, I believe. Whatever. It doesn't matter. It can't pronounce a word that doesn't exist. Anyways, so this place is basically got the castle surrounded, or the castle's on a cliff, I believe, and they're all out front of it. So there's no way for them to get out of the castle. And everybody is starving to death. So you follow Phosine. That's the one, Phosyne. I called her Visine. I'm sorry, Caitlin Starling, if you're watching this, I apologize. But I called her Visine all throughout the book. There is Traila, T-R-I-E or E-I-L-A, Traila, I believe is the name. There's 3 characters. Servoin, that's a POV character. You have Phosine, and then you have Traila. Those are the 3 POV characters. Servoin is a knight. She is a knight. It's a female knight. And then you have Phosine, who is a kind of a heretic witch kind of deal. Very cool concept. And then you have Traila, who is a woman looking for revenge. That's all I'll say about that. And there's a lot of weird sexual tension between these 3 also. I wouldn't call this a sapphic novel, but other people are calling it a sapphic novel. Like, there's really no, like, I don't know. That's not the point of the book, I guess. So I'm unsure why that's thrown in there just because they're lesbians. I don't know. Anyways, there are male characters, but the point of this one is, at some point in time, these saints arrive. These people show up and start feeding the people who are starving. It says all over the book. Even the blurbs call it a cannibal book. So, I mean, right on the cover, if you consider that a spoiler, then you're spoiled. I'm sorry. It's about people eating people, but it's not what you think it is. I will say, I like this one a lot, but there was a couple issues I found with it. The first one is a spoiler. Well, actually, the second one is going to be a spoiler, so I'll do a spoiler warning before I get into that. But the other one is toward the middle to the 2/3 of the way into the book, it starts to get rather repetitive and boring. It's literally this one. It's like one thing. They keep running downstairs. They keep coming back up. They're running downstairs. They're coming back up, and it's just it was more of the same over and over and over again. I got rather bored. But once it did pick back up, an amazing fucking ending. Loved it. In fact, I was going to give it 3 stars, but I ended up giving it 4 stars because by the end, it has an amazing ending. Great stuff. Now, I'm going to talk about spoilers, but for those of you that want to get out of here, you can now. You don't have to watch the spoilers. I'm going to give it 4 stars. I already said that. So now we're going to move on to the spoilers. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Spoilers. There's 2 things I don't like about this book. The first one is I believe there's a plot hole in it. Iron, and I never would have caught this unless Starling brought it up herself in the book. Iron is poison to the saints, to the creatures that have come in. We're in spoiler territory, so they're not actually people. They're whatever. They're creatures. They're kind of like vampiric, whatever. They have mind control, all that weird stuff. There really is nothing like this out there. You can't really call them any one thing. It is a very original premise, and I love that about it. But the iron, kind of like werewolves and silver, it's poison to them. It can kill them. But they also drink blood and eat people and whatnot, and we're full of iron. Your cereals are full of iron. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but you can take a magnet to your breakfast cereal, your fortified breakfast cereal, and you can find the iron shavings. We have iron in our blood. And I never would have caught this problem, this issue that I have with the story, had Starling not mentioned it. She says, of course they don't have blood because iron is poisonous to them. Well, if iron is poisonous to them, how are they eating people? Okay? You get what I'm saying? That's an issue, and it's a glaringly huge issue for me. Because they do eat people. They do. They got the one, not the absolving saint. One of the saints is always covered in people's blood. If they don't eat them, they're at least covered in the blood, which should be poisonous, right? Did I miss something? I don't know. Let me know down there in the doobly-doo if you want to. Just say spoiler warning. The second thing that pissed me off is at some point in time, Sir Voin gets stabbed in the neck and dies. This is the second horror novel in a row that I have read, Cosmology of Monsters, and this one, The Starving Saints, where the author kills a character and then goes, haha, just kidding, they're not actually dead. Fuck off. I cannot stand that. If you're going to kill a character, Let them stay dead. Now, Sir Voin being alive made the ending even better, but it still does not change the fact that it's like, holy shit, they're dead. And then you strip that away and it's like, oh, that didn't really mean anything. What? And I still don't understand how Sir Voin came back, because if Sir Voin pulled the knife out of the throat and then she came back. I don't understand how she came back. And I know Starling is kind of like, I'm not going to explain anything, but you had certain rules that you built up, and Sir Voin was just a regular mortal, right? How'd she come back? I don't know, but those are the problems that I had with it. Spoilers are done. But yeah, have you read The Starving Saints? If you have, let me know down in the doobly-doo what you thought of it. But until next time, I have been E, you have been you. This has been another horror novel review for spooky season. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye!